All right, race fans, we are back with another episode of the One to Go Show, episode number 275. As always, I'm Ryan Aho, winner of this week's draft. I've got to self-suck there a little bit. I know that Tardy's going to give me a lot of shit for that one, but finally got one out of the way. Former crew chief for the national championship team, track champion over at the Proctor Speedway, my right-hand man, Changa. How's Changa doing today?
I'm good.
I tell you what, us Vikings fans, we had an emotional roller coaster last night. So yeah, it went better than expected. So me and Changa Bert were a little bit more excited at the end of the fourth quarter than we were at the end of the second quarter. Let's just put it that way. All right. And of course, we have the former editor of Full Throttle Magazine, race fan extraordinaire, former tear-off specialist for the 5 ride of MJ McBride. We got Bert Lehman in the house. How's Bert doing?
I'm doing all right. I do want to say one thing about that World 100 draft. I think everybody who drafted before you should have 1 point deducted from their point total for letting
100% agree.
RTJ get to you at what, pick 11 or
11.
Pick 11. Well, with that said, right? I mean, you got Kraus. He picked frickin' Bobby Pierce. Pick 1. So if you picked the first few, picked Pierce, Davenport, Dale McDowell, they're forgiven. They're forgiven. But Tardy picking Brandon Shepard before RTJ, I don't know, right? I don't know. I mean, thank you very much. I got to thank you guys. I appreciate. I don't. Changa, who did you pick?
My first round pick was Shirley at 13.
Oh, you were after me, so you're forgiven. Of course, you gave me Madden, but he broke. Who was your first pick, Bert?
Brandon Overton right after your pick?
Right after me. Yeah, you guys were after me. So fair enough. Fair enough. So this episode, guys, brought to you by Impact Health Sharing. So it's that time of year, right? A lot of people looking to change insurance companies right now. And if you're self-employed, if you're I mean, heck, you can be an employee. Maybe you got to pay for your own insurance, single couples, families, whatever it may be. Or if you have some employees, right? You might have a small business under 50 employees and you're looking for maybe a way to not spend so much money on health insurance. Well, I have a great program called Impact Health Sharing, very affordable rates. You can go to any provider nationwide. Actually, if you're in Canada or whatever, you got medical stuff up there, you can use it out of the country as well, which is cool. Also very, very affordable deductibles. And, we've talked about this a bunch. Deductibles kill people. You might have good health insurance, but you might have deductibles $2, $3, $4, $5, $6,000 per person. And you're going, holy balls, I don't have that kind of money to go to the doctor. So I might be able to help you. Give me a call, 218-969-1380. Hit me up on Messenger, text, call me. I don't care. I can get you a quick, no obligation quote, get you some information, see if we can help you save some money on health insurance products. That's Impact Health Sharing. So since we're all watching, Bert's not, but Changa and I are right now. We're watching. I guess we'll call it night number 1 of the WISSOTA 100. It's kind of a standalone show. I'm curious, whose dumbass idea was it to add another day of racing to the WISSOTA 100? In what universe? I'm like, literally, like, do people not talk to people? I mean, I don't understand, right? The people that are running this program, whether it's the Challenge Series director, whether it's WISSOTA board, whoever it is, right? Do you not talk to your drivers? Seriously, do you not talk to your customers? Do you not understand? Everybody and their brother is like, we should just shrink this down a day, right? Go Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Nope. Let's add a day. Kind of added a day. They got late models tonight. And so they're having challenge series along with practice. The heats were pretty ho-hum. And let's face it, I'm looking right now. I will say this. There's at least 10 times as many people in the back straightaway as there is in the flag stand right now. So that's pretty good. Okay. There can't be, I don't know, 150 people there. I mean, would you pay $27 to watch 5 late model heats, 2 B mains, a feature, and a whole shit ton of practice on
No,
a
I would
Tuesday
not.
night? I mean, let's face it, Boone, which had 1,100 cars, right? Their fan base sucked on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. They didn't have many people in the grandstands. It's back gate driven there. That's just the way we are. And they add a day. So there's an either or here. You guys give me, maybe there's another reason. Either A, they added it to the show. They added the challenge series on Tuesday and Wednesday, thinking this is a logical explanation, right? Maybe they were thinking, boy, we're trying to get some of these Wisconsin guys to follow the challenge series, but a lot of them are married to the legendary 100 at Cedar, and they're going to go there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and we want to get them over here Tuesday, Wednesday, give them the opportunity to go either way. Maybe that's it, right? Didn't work because there's essentially none of the Cedar Lake cars follow. Or B, they're looking for a way to make people pay to get in to watch practice and put more money in their pocket, which is super sad, right? Because I mean, as a fan, if you're there, if you're set up in camping, if you want to jump up in the grandstands, watch a few practice laps on practice night, maybe check out your driver, it don't cost nothing on practice night. Well, tonight it's $27 or whatever to get in to watch frickin' practice, and of course, hopefully a good late model feature. I'm hoping, right? We got two B mains left. They're doing track prep right now, but looking at the grandstands, guys, is this a mistake? I mean, do you think they're going to do this again in 2026?
I
Changa?
mean, I don't. Oh, well, I was just gonna say I don't know if they're gonna do this again next year, but I mean, maybe they're trying to follow the national scene when the Castro Flow Series they schedule a race right before the Dream, but the national scene is totally different than local racing. I mean, the drivers they work for a living, so they have to use a full week's vacation practically to race in this race.
Yeah, 100%. And they already do. And
Mhm.
and I understand definitely. I'm a firm believer. Have the challenge series crown a challenge series champion at the Wissota 100. Hell, in my opinion, you should crown all the national championships and everything at the Wissota 100. That should be the end of it right there, because let's face it, you guys have seen the payout for the 50th annual Red Clay Classic coming up, right? There is exactly 0 drivers going to the red clay point hunting. 0. None. They're going there for unbelievable pay that them guys put together and to drink a shitload of beer. That's what they do at the red clay. They don't give two shits about national points. If they want national points, they're going to Madison. That's where they're going. Punky Manor, right? They're doing a double header. People don't go to these big end of the year invitationals for points. I mean, I get it. If you're in second in points, you're sitting there going, "Man, I'd like another couple shots at this deal to try to get her done." But man, I mean, if you want to end this deal in style, they should be ending the national championship right here, right at the Wissota 100. Crown the national championships on and literally, right? Because Saturday there's no heats, right? So they got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They would absolutely know who the national championship winners are on Friday. On Saturday during the day, they could actually have a big ceremony there, congratulate the champions, have them carry the flags, have a big to do, right? There's only a few little tracks out there that are just adamant against this, and I don't know. I think that ending the challenge series here, whoever thought of that, great idea. Great idea. A+. I think that is spot on. Do you guys think they should also end the Wissota National Point season right here at the Wissota 100?
Yeah, I think we've kind of always felt that way, right? I mean, this ain't the first time we've ever talked about that. I mean, as far as this race in Tuesday through Saturday, I mean, I guess I really don't care because it gives me something to do while I'm at home doing laundry or something. But it don't look like a profitable deal by any stretch of the imagination.
No, it really don't. It really don't. So it's Wissota 100 week. In theory, it's debatable, but it's supposed to be the biggest event of the year for Wissota racing. And quite honestly, I'm repping a little Cedar Lake Speedway swag right now because I'll be honest with you, I think Wissota 100, I think Cedar Lake Speedway. Nothing against any track it's been at, but it just ain't ever been the same. It just is what it is, right? So I'm going to ask you guys this both. I want you to think back. Give me your best, or maybe a couple, if you got them. Your favorite, maybe on track, off track, whatever it may be. Give me your best WISSOTA 100 memory.
My best WISSOTA 100 memory came in Brainerd when we won one.
Well, fair enough. Stings a little bit. We never got it done at Cedar. Got second there. Got tore
Yeah,
down
well,
that night too.
yep, that'd be the next memory right there.
So you met Uper. I mean, I don't know if you met him in person yet. Have you, Bert?
No.
So get this. We're at the WISSOTA 100, 2004, I believe it was. Hell of a point battle going with Dave Moss, and me and Tim Johnson get together, and I end up busting up the left front. I get second. Don Drew, a great race car driver, he wins it. One of the best to ever do it in the state of Wisconsin in the super stock class. Got second behind him. She was a tough one, but we get tore down at the end of the race, right? Now, earlier that year, Jeff's brother, Carl, got hit by a car while they're packing track over at the Grove Creek Speedway. They all worked at the track over there. Almost a fatal accident. I mean, it was a freak deal. I guess the sun got in the eyes of the driver. He flipped up. The hood pin went into his head. He had like literal had like basically all kinds of damage up there. They had I don't exactly know all the details, but I think the skull was fractured. He had to wear a helmet, right? He had stuff going on to let it heal. So obviously they're like, we're all going to go to the 100. We're not going to make Carl sit here by himself with a helmet on, right? He didn't want to do that. So that whole group, they all wore helmets. They had like orange jumpsuits on. You remember this, Changa, right? They're shit faced, right? Maybe a little bit overserved. We're in getting teched at the building. These numbnuts are all standing at the pit gate 2 o'clock in the morning. True story. They're all standing there checking wristbands at 2 o'clock in the morning. They're like, the races are done. It's Saturday night. After the races, people are coming in. They're like, you got a wristband? Nope, sorry, you got to turn around and leave. You can't come into the pits without a wristband. People were leaving. They're like looking at tires. I don't know. You ain't got the right tires on. You got to go. You got to only Hoosiers allowed in here. They're fucking with people all night long. They had a grand old time as we're sitting in there tearing the whole motor apart. Turned out to be a blessing and surprise because we found a cracked crankshaft. So that probably saved us for the following week where we went on to win. But that was that was a good time. We had a hell of a lot of fun at the 100. So that's some of Chonga's. Bert, how about you?
Well, a couple of things. Probably, I mean, one thing I enjoyed when MJ would go racing in the WISSOTA 100. I just enjoyed seeing all the drivers from the different areas converge at one racetrack. I mean, you had cars from the Dakotas, you had cars from eastern Wisconsin at that time, and that one year there were, I think there was 82 late models racing. 82 at a at a local show. I mean, that was unbelievable. But probably fun memories are when MJ would qualify, because this is when it was on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So you ran the late model heat races on Thursday. So if we qualified through the heat race on Thursday, Friday we would go bowling Friday afternoon at the bowling alley in New Richmond. So that was, because we didn't have to race Friday night then. So that was always a good time.
Then you'd watch a real show Friday night. Superstocks come out. They run their 12 heat races of Superstocks on
That
Friday
yeah,
night.
well that's when they had over 300 super stocks at that race, and they were parked all over the place.
And I got to ask you guys. You bring up there was 82 cars at the WISSOTA 100, right? Or 82 late models, 120-ish super stocks and modifieds. They had so many modifieds they decided to do the affirmative action features where they're, hey, let's just run 2 features because it ain't fair. It's like what are we doing here, right? Um, but you think about it, it's a little depressing, right? Because there's really no WISSOTA south of like Minneapolis anymore. All them tracks used to be, right? St. Charles and Casson and Lansing and Deer Creek and Mississippi Thunder. And you went into Wisconsin, you had Cedar Lake and Monster Hall and Eastern Wisconsin late models with Shawano and Seymour. And I think was it Sunnyview Speed Zone, all of them tracks, right? everybody was with soda, and they had one with soda 100, one, right? So all the cars from the Dakotas, if you wanted to race that weekend with soda, you wanted to go to the 100, there was one. Boone, that's what they do in Boone. That's why they have so many cars. I believe they made a massive, massive mistake in judgment when they decided to split it. And they even went as far as let's have 3 100s one year. It's like, what are we doing? Right. And they're like, well, some of these guys don't want to travel. Well, too bad. Don't race that weekend then. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, do you think the IMCA is telling, and now they have one because now Wasoda's way smaller, right? Of course, you got the legendary 100 that's racing directly against them. So essentially, there's 2 100s still. One's non-Wasota. It's a legendary 100. One is the Wasota 100. But when they split that up, Cedar Lake was still great, but I think they killed the vibe. I mean, they had crowds that rivaled the USA Nationals. I mean, it was jam packed, and it's just not the same anymore. And we get it. Wasota is a fraction of what it was back in the 90s and early 2000s. But man, I mean, Boone, that just makes it that much more impressive what the IMCA Super Nationals has become over time, and it's growing. And there's been seasons in there, right, where things were a little bit lighter or whatever, but not super light. And they've stuck to their guns, guys. One IMCA Boone Super Nationals. They don't split up that weekend. I mean, and they're coast to coast, right? They could be like, well, we're gonna have one in California, we're gonna have one in Texas, we're gonna have one up here in Iowa, right? They don't do that. They're like, no, no, there's one IMCA Boone Super Nationals. And Bert, that's hits exactly what you said. That's when drivers were converging from all these different areas, and you get to see all the great drivers in all these classes. Because as a racer, right, as a racer, I want to race against the top drivers from everywhere. I want to race against the best. And as a fan, I'm guessing it's the same way. You want to see all the top drivers competing against each other. And that's why I look at this deal and I'm like, hey, nothing against Fergus, whatever, it is what it is. But if a dream ever could come true, move this Wasota 100 right back to Cedar Lake, get Cedar Lake back to being Wasota, strengthen up Wasota and Wisconsin, get back to having one, and holy shit, it could be a great event again. But will it ever be the same? I don't know. I think it'll still be. It's a decent show, but it's not what it was, right? Any other memories that stick to mind for you guys? Maybe on the track, maybe some on the track memories.
Well, yeah, you'll get a kick out of this story. One time, um, MJ didn't qualify for the feature, and but he wanted to try a setup. So back then, you had to have a ticket to go out to hot lap. I don't know if you remember that.
I do. I
So
do.
what? One of our crew members talked to an official and I don't know, told him we lost our ticket or something. I mean, we did not qualify for the feature, but on Saturday night they let the cars that qualified for the feature take some hot laps. So so MJ wanted to try this setup, and a crew member got a ticket, so he went out and hot lapped with the cars that qualified, and apparently they're over the track officials were over the radios are saying, "What's that 5 car doing out there?" And then after hot laps, we loaded the car really fast and locked it up.
You guys are a bunch of damn troublemakers. That's what you guys are. I'm telling you. Um, how about you, Changa? Anything else stick out from the 100?
One of them years that they had two modified feature events, didn't Ron Jones win one and Dennis Jones won the other?
I think it was Rick Auckland and Dennis Jones. I
Was it?
believe it was. I think it was. It was. It definitely was not Ron and Dennis. It for sure was not that. But I do remember Dennis winning one of them for sure. I think Ron might have got second. I feel like it was to Rick Auckland,
Could be.
maybe in Jay McDonald's car, maybe. He might have been in Jay's car. I can't remember for sure. It was a long time ago. That was back in the mid 90s there. So, but I know they didn't both win on the same night. I do remember Dennis winning. Ron was obviously up front as he always is, but I feel like it might have been Auckland. Might have to take a look back at that. I do have the notes on my phone, but I don't. We'll have to look that up. We'll get back to you on that one. You remember a couple races that stuck out? Remember Trent Fulmer in that heat race? The left front tire busted right off, and the tire just dangling there. And was he battling with Thatcher maybe? And he won that heat race. I mean, the crowd went absolutely mental watching him win that deal. And then I remember Jerry Radetsky, right? The great Jerry Radetsky winning from the B main. I think he won a couple years in a row. They might have both been from the B, but that was hell of impressive. And who could forget the Twin Cities towing flatbeds up in turn 3 at about 3 o'clock in the morning? Changa knows what I'm talking. If you know, you know. But they brought some very, very good times. Let's put it that way. So you look at WISSOTA 100 week is here. We did a draft. We're going to get to that in just a little bit. Bert,
I have one other memory.
all
Remember that big tree that they had right as you entered the pit area?
that was
Nesbitt, all the
Tom Nesbitt. Yep,
Yep.
Tom Nesbitt's pit spot. I sure
Yep.
do.
Well, at the end of the races, and this is why it's important to strap your car down. You guys froze up.
Nope, you did. We hear you.
I hear you.
Well, he's in Wisconsin there, Chong. I mean, so are you, but you're kind of in South Duluth is where you are. So Bert's probably going to leave us here. He's kind of frozen. Let's see if let's do this.
I forgot to turn off my or put on my do not disturb, so I'm getting all the text messages from the group here.
We'll go ahead and fix that while we're
I mean, it's not
checking out
bothering
Bert
me.
here.
It's not hurting anything. I don't know if I.
Yeah, Bert will be right back. Bert will be right back here. So we're gonna get to it. We did a WISSOTA 100 draft. We'll talk about that in a minute. Bert logged out. He's gonna log back in. But we talked about. I'm looking at the grandstands right now, Changa. It's B main number 2.
Yeah.
B main number 2, and they're doing an overview shot of the track, Dirt Race Central, and I'm telling you what, I don't know, 100 people in the front straight, nobody in the back. I mean, it is really, really, really light grandstands there. So we'll see what happens there with Bert when he comes in. But with that said, Cedar Lake's been the same way. The Legendary 100's been empty. It's not been the same. The IMCA Boone Super Nationals, pretty much all week long, empty grandstands. Why is that? I mean, people can say all day long, right? That, oh man, we can watch it on live streaming. We can watch it on streaming, but I mean, it used to be racing was almost secondary. I mean, it's kind of a spectacle. It's an event. Why are the crowds so bad at these things, Changa?
There's no youth in the game anymore. The people that brought all the excitement were the youth. And there's no people don't do cars anymore, right? I mean, cars are not cool anymore.
You know what? You mentioned something there, and that would be kind of a fun exercise. It would be interesting to see, right? And that's something we could do after the 100. I kind of like doing that stats type stuff. I would love to see the average age of drivers that participate at the 2025 WISSOTA 100. Because back in the early 90s, there was an absolute shit ton of us that were in the 20s.
Right.
A lot of us, right? Early 20s. And boy, I'm looking at this B main. You got Sobraski, he's older. Stearns is older. Tollickson's older. Gelling is in his 20s. I think that Seckerson kid might be younger. I don't know Connor Spurley. Eisenschenk girl is teenager. Johnny's in his 30s. Trantina's, I think he's around 40. I'm not sure. And then Danny Vang's in his 40s. So I mean, obviously the late models have always been a little bit older, right? Let's see. I think Bert shot me. No, Bert didn't shoot me a text. I don't know what he's got going on there. He's probably trying to figure out his stuff. So let me ask you this, right? And Bert can join us if he figures it back out. So we were talking about the IMCA Boone Super Nationals, and there was some unbelievable racing. And these B mains are better. So Sean, those guys farmed the track after practice. Sun went down, moisture's come up. I think the feature is going to be a hell of a lot better than the heat races. I really do.
Bravo, I assume Bravo gets a provisional.
Yeah, Bravo will get a provisional. Yep, for sure. So looking at Boone though, 30 stock car heats, 30 mod heats every night, right? And then you figure in there's all these B mains, there's features, 2 features for each class. And I think they started racing at 3. They got done racing at like midnight, 1 o'clock.
They were starting at 1.
They started earlier a couple days. Did they start at 1 every day? Was it every day?
One day they started at noon, and then a couple of the days they started at 1.
Yikes. Can you even fathom? And I consider us both like pretty solid race fans, right? Could you fathom sitting, like literally sitting in the grandstands for that many races all week long?
Not a chance. I don't think I could do it for one day.
Right. That's a bunch, right? So if I went to the I mean, back Cedar Lake, they used to have the fields all split up. But in a show that long, right? What I've seen a lot of people doing now is they'll be camped at the racetrack and they'll have their big screen TV either right outside or inside the camper, and they'll watch part of it there, and they'll kind of bounce back and forth to the grandstands. They'll come back down, they'll barbecue, and they'll watch some of the heats and whatever. They're not spending all that time in the grandstands. They might be up in the grandstands when their driver is out on the track or people they know, but when there's 60 heat races, they're not going to be up there for all of them. But they farm the track every 10 races like clockwork, and you kind of know what you're going to get. There's no surprises, and it was pretty good. It was pretty good. So with Soda 100, the format, I don't know, it's a lot of racing. I just don't think they needed to add a day. In my mind, they could, I don't know, they right now, Bert's getting back in. Okay. So right now at the Wissota 100, Bert's getting logged back in. Right now at the Wissota 100, they race Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. A little fire there on Zimpel's car. Must have been exhaust burning. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They lock in 8 on Wednesday. They lock in 8 on Thursday. They lock in 8 on Friday. Then they got their B main. And then they got 3 random draw people that get in. As a fan, I would rather see just one less day of racing. 24 cars locked in the feature. And if you want to give these people a little extra money, have an alphabet soup type of deal and pay good money for the B main, right? Maybe, whatever that, you figure all that out. But is it necessary to have 33 cars in a feature race? Is that too many, Bert? Or on the flip side, does getting into lap traffic with 33 cars make the racing more exciting? On a big track like that with 24 cars, would it kind of get spread out if, and there wouldn't be a lot of action? Does the 33 cars maybe enhance the entertainment value?
I don't know if it enhances it. I mean, yeah, they may get into traffic sooner, but I think 33 is too many. I mean, if you want to go up to 28, okay, that's 4 more than what a normal feature is. I think 33 is too many.
33 is a bunch. Changa, what do you think?
Watching it in years past, and I-94 isn't like the world's biggest track, but it seems like with that many cars, it works out fine. I mean, I don't know, it races pretty good. It's a wide racetrack, so there's a lot of room out there. I don't know, it's lap traffic plays a big part in a race, and a lot of times there is no race without it, to be honest. I mean, but then you get the case where you got the never-ending race where you got all these yellows, and you wish there was about 10 fewer of them out there too. So
that's the benefit of having a lot of cars, though. In theory, right? In theory, you're gonna eliminate some of the so-called riffraff that's causing all these yellows. In theory, right? May not always work out that way, right? It's just the way it is.
But with the Wissota 100, you should have enough. There should be 33 top quality drivers.
Well, the weird thing is they have 30 locked in. They get 3 of them that are just random draw. Hey, these three were here all week long, and we're gonna lottery draw 3 out. I don't know that those 3 have absolutely wrecked a race yet, but it's common. right? I'd rather have them draw 3 out and just hand them a check, right? You're like, thanks for coming. Here's a check instead of a lottery draw. But that's just me. But it's a big week. WISSOTA 100's a big week. Again, I'd love to see it back at Cedar Lake and Cedar Lake back to WISSOTA, but it is what it is. Changa, closing thoughts on WISSOTA
Well,
100 stuff.
I was just gonna say, B main #1, your winner DQ'd.
Really? Who was it?
Travis Sauer.
Jeez, it must have been Deckheight again. Must have been. We're going to talk about Deckheight in a minute.
How much of my last story did you guys hear?
We heard a chunk of it. But why don't you go ahead and bring us back around?
Yeah, super stock driver was leaving the pits, and this is why it's important to strap your car down, because as he went up that little hill by that tree, the car rolled right off the trailer.
Can you imagine if it would have rolled off the trailer into the Nesbitt car?
Oh God.
Somebody would have got their
Into
ass
his
kicked.
motorhome.
Yeah, somebody would have been in trouble. All right. So somebody's life got saved because the car did not roll into Tom Nesbitt's car. Let's put it that way. But that tree's gone. They
Yeah.
got rid of that tree. That is, and that to me, and it's funny, you remember that tree. You remember that tree.
Oh, 100%.
That was an iconic landmark at the Cedar Lake Speedway, and it's gone. So, Chris, what are we doing there, guy? Put that freaking tree back up there. What? God dang it. Yeah, unfortunate. I guess times change. So the biggest national event of this last week that we all watched, right? And by far, without question, not the biggest paying race in dirt late models, but there's not a bigger race in dirt late models. It is the crown jewel of crown jewels, the World 100 at Eldora. Bert let us down. He wasn't our eye in the sky. He wasn't over there this year. A little disappointing. You know, get back over there next year. But
I will next year.
give us your thoughts here on this year's World 100, whether it be, I'll give a couple topics and you just go ahead and run with it. But on the format, the racing this year, the whole atmosphere of things, the special bodies, what stuck out to you? Give us maybe a quick rundown of what happened. Go ahead, Bert.
Well, I guess the first thing, Saturday was sold out. I mean, they stopped selling tickets. I mean, if you went there late thinking that you're going to buy a ticket, you were turned away. Well, you probably didn't get that close, because I would imagine the traffic was was really tough in that area. But yeah, sold out. I mean, that's almost unbelievable, and considering how many people they can fit in there. Um, and yeah, a lot of special raps. We talked about Tyler Herbs last week, and he did post a video. Yeah, he when he was younger, he had cancer, and so he was at a children's cancer hospital.
Same one.
So what's that?
It's the same one.
Oh, okay, the same one.
Yep.
And he said that well, I saw an interview with them. They got the door panels done, and then they, took him to the hospital, and they just let the kids go to town on them, do whatever they wanted to draw on them. So that was pretty cool. And I think they're going to auction off one of them with the proceeds going to the hospital. And I'm not sure what's going on with the other side panel.
I think they said they wanted to give the other panel to the hospital.
Okay, that could be.
Yeah, very, very cool deal. A lot of really cool tribute bodies out there. And Turbo had a hell of a weekend. What was he, plus 12? I think the top 5, he got 4th. So I got to be honest with you. I did not have on my bingo card Tyler Erb finishing top 5 at the World 100. I just did not. He's a good regional racer. He does good on the Hell Tour. He has his moments, but he was legit fast at Eldora for sure.
Yeah, and obviously RTJ won, and I think, well, I think he wanted this really bad. Well, obviously he wanted. Every driver wants it really bad, but I mean, they built a brand new car for this race. He said, and he went to the Baltus Classic the Sunday before, to get more seat time and to help prepare for the 100. So I mean, he put in the work to get this victory.
So 2 things there, and I'll let either one of you touch on this, is number 1, right? He was kind of mediocre all week. in both prelims nights, he was not very good. He kind of backpedaled. He just kind of hanging around 10th. He wasn't all that good. And then they figured something out for night 3. And when it mattered most, he got it done. But I was talking to Joel, a buddy of mine, and he's like, this is a race where teams, they put in more preparation for this single race than they do for any other race, or maybe even in a whole month. I mean, I'm talking like, I mean, think back, Chonga, when we were racing, Labor Day shootout was kind of our deal, right? We'd get done with rapids, we'd go home and we'd strip the car completely down to nothing except for the drivetrain in it. And we'd go through all the suspension, new deck tin, new body, everything was fresh, ready to go for the Labor Day shootout. This is times 100. This is a World 100. It's a little bit bigger deal, right? And I mean, you just said it, right? RTJ, brand new car for the event. Multiple people had new cars for the event. Jonathan Davenport has a car that they only use at these kind of shows. So that's a huge deal. That's a big, I mean,
Well,
this race really matters to a lot of people.
I mean, as a comparison, it's kind of, on the national scene, it's like the Daytona 500. The team they spend a lot of time, money, and energy trying to win the Daytona 500. And, you could equate, the same thing for this race on the dirt late model scale.
Yeah, 1000%. What's you guys' thoughts on the format, right? I mean, you look at JD and Dale McDowell were, I think they both won heats and features, both of the first 2 nights. Neither one had an opportunity to even, they couldn't start on the front row, right? They could not start on the front row no matter what happened with the way the invert all happened, right? I think Davenport played the game, he started 4th, but McDowell had to start 3rd row in the heat. Bobby Pierce, it nabbed him, right? He had to start 3rd row in a heat race. And me and Chonga were talking about it the night before. It's like, he's like, oh, Pierce will be okay. Pierce will be okay. I'm like, all it takes is one person to get just a little bit of wiggle in front of him, and he's 7th. And you ain't going to make that up. You're screwed. Your thoughts on this invert deal and kind of the affirmative action freaking lineup system where the top guys don't even get a chance to start in the front? Is that good or bad?
I guess I don't mind inverting. I don't know if inverting 6 is the answer. But the other thing is it's a point system, right? Even if you win the heats, win the preliminary features, if you qualify bad, you don't get good points for qualifying. You still find yourself out of the top, not even in the invert for the 3rd night if you don't qualify well too. So
If you win both heats, I mean, I get what you're saying, but if you win both heats, both features, you probably qualified good enough to definitely be in the invert.
Take Pierce for example, right? First night he qualified crappy, like 21st in his group, and I think he got a 3rd in the heat, 3rd in the feature. Second night qualified 3rd, got 2nd in the heat, 2nd in the feature, and wasn't even. I think he ended up 7th in the overall points or whatever. And there's a guy that was on the podium every race.
Well, you look at Jonathan, or you look at Dale McDowell, right? He won both heats, won both features, and he had to start. He starts 6th in his heat race on Saturday, right? And Jonathan Davenport,
they inverted 6.
They inverted 6, but Davenport, Bert, let's face it, is Davenport the master at playing the game in time trials? I mean, do you think there's nobody can convince me that he qualified that badly, that he it was just lucky.
Sure. I think he did. It was playing the game the first night for sure. And I wouldn't be shocked if Pierce was playing the game the first night too, and they bit them both because they both fell outside of the invert.
I think there's something to that because Davenport.
If you play the game, that can happen though. I mean, because these cars are only separated by half a second, quarter of a second. I mean, not even. I mean, even less than that. I mean, so
it massively benefited him though.
You're gonna hit it right.
Bert, you're kind of half-ass freezing up there again. Are you on Wi-Fi or are you on data on your phone right now?
I'm on Wi-Fi.
Are you getting text messages or something?
Yeah, and when I logged back in, I put it on airplane mode, but then I couldn't get back into Zoom. Let me see if I can put it on.
Go to settings, and then go to messages, and then click turn off notifications. So go to settings, scroll down to messages, click on messages, and up on top it'll say notifications. Turn that off, and you'll be good to go. I had to learn that the hard way after all these years on how to not get text messages while I was doing it. So, let's face it, Changa, it benefited Davenport because his feeble qualifying attempts, right, matched up with first in the heat, first in the feature both nights. That put him outside row number 2 on the night that mattered versus Dale McDowell qualifying better and finishing first and second. He had to start 6th. So I don't know if I really like that whole playing the game format kind of. I mean, I don't know. Their theory is they're trying to make an entertaining product for the crowd,
Oh, for
and
sure.
I get what they're trying to do, but penalizing good performance is exactly why us racers hate the point average lineup system, because it's like you go out there and you finish top 3 every single night. Now you got to start in the back. That's not fair. That's bullshit, right? You work harder, you're faster. You shouldn't get penalized for that. And I don't know. I mean, it's kind of a horse apiece because some fans are like, "Hey, I love it. You got to see these guys pass cars." But does Dale McDowell win that race if he wins both nights and him and JD are on the front row? Do they finish first and second in this deal?
Well, JD ultimately got a flat tire, so maybe not. But
He did, yeah. And there's a lot of shit that can. It's a 100-lap race, so I mean, there's a lot of stuff
I
that can
mean, and
happen.
I think McDowell had a shot if it wouldn't have been for that last late yellow. He had a shot at winning it. And think about how much easier he'd have been on his tires had he started up front and not had to come from 19th.
RT fired early, and clearly he knew where you could fire because it wasn't they didn't call it. They'll call you on a jump start there for sure. I've seen him do it, right? But he could not have gotten better restarts than he did at the end of that race when he was side by side with McDowell. I mean, it was like that was the race right there. I mean, so hats off to RTJ, and again, I'd like to thank all those in our group that decided to let him slide all the way back down to 11th
It's
so I
unreal.
could pick him in the draft. I really do appreciate that. The racing was actually pretty darn good all weekend long. It didn't latch up. I thought the racing was pretty entertaining all throughout the whole deal. So they did a pretty good job. I'm usually not a big fan of 100 lappers. I've always been a little critical of half miles, but I I think that I don't think many people left disappointed, right? I think the program was pretty good. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I thought it was good racing throughout the weekend, and um, you never quite know what Eldora is gonna produce. I mean, sometimes I've been there for snoozers. Well, the track really doesn't lock down anymore because not. I mean, they used to not do any track prep. Once the races started, they did no track prep at Eldora, but that's changed now, and they did do some track prep, and it paid off, and it was a good race.
I think so too. I'm watching practice right now. Couple people that so Yoop are jacking us around in the draft. We got one more topic, and then we're gonna get into our studs and duds. Matt Heinzerling's in the house from out in Spearfish, South Dakota. Super Mario's here. Mario Berger. I saw him out practicing too. So cool
Didn't
to
see
see
him.
some of them Western guys making the trips over. Cameron LaBelle on the track right now. He won a feature earlier this year in Rapids in the Super. So speaking of formats, I was looking at Madison on Sunday, right? And I saw Blake Adams DNS in the feature. I'm like, so I text Buzzy. I'm like, you guys break what happened, right? He's like, fuck heat points. That's what he said. And I kind of gone back and forth on this over a period of time. Should there be heat points? Should there not be heat points? Well, I don't even think there's another sanctioning body, series, anything out there that has heat race points anymore. I think everything else has gone to straight feature points. IMC doesn't have heat points anymore, Bert, do they? I don't believe they do.
No, no.
Right?
For points, it's all feature.
Yeah, USRA, USMTS, World of Outlaws, Lucas, High Limits, right? Feature points is it, right? And I get what Wasota was trying to do. I do. They're like, we want to make heat race. Half the program is heat races. First half of the race event is heat races. So we want heat races to matter. Well, I think I do have a solution, maybe an idea, right? For those listening that maybe have a say in this process. The idea behind having heat race points is we want heat races to matter, but let's face it, very small percentage of drivers racing are even racing for points to begin with, right? It's like if you look at a 20 car field well, not that every class has 20 cars anymore, but there's 2 or 3 that are racing for heats, and everybody else is like, hey, we're just racing. We want to go out there, try to win tonight or do the best we can, right? Why not just redraw less? Right? If there's 2 heats, instead of redrawing the top 4, right? Why don't they just redraw the top 2? Because now you got to get to the top 2. You're on a redraw spot. Your goal is to get as far ahead as you can in a qualifying event to get yourself a better starting position in the A main. National championships could be affected because people drew bad on a shit track. Let's face it. Heat races a lot of times, it's freaking hard to pass in an 8-lap heat. Track could be slimy, muddy still. It could be all marbled up and hasn't cleaned off yet. You start 7th in a heat race on a track that ain't very good, it's a hell of a lot harder to get to the front in a heat than it is in a feature. Would you guys agree with that?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
so people, drivers I've talked to, they're like, why are we letting national championships, track championships, all that be left to chance? You draw bad in a heat race, and I get it. When I drew bad in a heat race, and there was heat race points back in the day, I'm like, this is a waste of fucking time. Load it up. This is unbelievably stupid. We might as well just go home. We start 10th in the heat. There's no freaking way we're gonna get a keeper tonight. This is complete bullshit, right? Well, feature races is what matters, right? So I get it. So they loaded up, and I saw Joey Jansen do it one night earlier this year, and I know there's been others that have done the same thing that are like, heat race didn't go worth a shit. Load up, head home. There ain't no sense racing a feature. There ain't no sense tearing shit up. We're not going to get a keeper show anyway. That ain't good for racing. Now, I was a different circumstance because I had to have a check, right?
Right.
I mean, so Racing Bert was different back then. Back when we had wooden wheels and shit like that, I literally would write checks. I'm not kidding. This is how I did it. When I was racing for Natties, Chongo was there. I'd write checks all weekend long. And then I'd be looking at my checkbook and it'd be like negative 338, negative 450, right? And I'm looking at it, I'm like negative, 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 negative. And then I'd be looking at my winnings for the weekend because my winnings would go into the bank on Monday to cover the checks I wrote that were no good all weekend long. And I was always playing that game. You can't do that anymore. That's no longer a thing. You can't do that, right? Well, I had to race. We had a bad heat race. It's like I have to have a good enough night to get a check, right? Or maybe stop somebody else from winning that I'm competing against. Should there be heat points?
I honestly don't have an opinion either way. It's the only way I've ever known it. So, I mean, it's normal to me.
And it hasn't been the last few years. Wasota got rid of heat points for a few years.
Right.
And again, all other sanctioning bodies, and you keep track, you're watching Lucas, you're watching USMTS, you're watching World of Outlaws, High Limits, right? You're watching all this. None of them have heat points. Okay. Bert,
Yeah,
as a fan, it doesn't change racing, right? So I don't know your thoughts.
yeah, I mean, IMCA does not have heat points, but they have the invert for the heat. So, I mean, if you're a fast car, you're going to be starting in the back. So you're going to have to work your way up to the front anyway.
Except at specials. They don't have
Right,
regular
except at
track nights they
special.
do. Yep.
At specials, they have draw redraw. You're
Right.
correct.
Yep. Yeah, you still want to get up into the redraw, right? In the theory is you're still gonna put on a show. Now, I am absolutely in no way, shape, or form in favor of an inverted lineup in a heat race. That is some dumbass
What's
shit
even
right there.
worse?
That is They had that when the invert first started in Wissota. They did that. We had to start freaking back of the heat races, then we had to race our way up to the front, and then we had to start 12th in the features. I'm like, and then the problem is you get the people up there and that let's just face it, some of them do not belong starting on the front row of a race because they were destroying shit, right? And you had to deal with that twice a night in the heat and the feature. I'm not in favor of that, but I think I'm on to what a lot of these drivers have said, because I've had a lot of drivers reach out and they're like, I'd like to get rid of heat points, redraw less, figure out something different to make the heat races matter more. Maybe do what the Red Clay Classic does. Winners draw with winners, second place draws with second place drivers, third place draws with third. The better you finish in the heat race, so be it. You're going to have a better starting position in the feature. I'm good with that too, but I don't. I always feel like that there's some drivers that are luckier at the draw window than others. It is what it is. I mean, right?
Did you see that this week?
I
Oh,
did. I did.
on the Hibbing Speedway page, how they posted the average draws for the year. That was pretty neat. I've never seen that before.
It was very informative. Yeah, Jackson Braun put that together for Hibbing, and you look at that and you're like, there is clearly some drivers that are significantly luckier than others, and
Yep.
there's some drivers that are like, I'm afraid to walk by this guy outside in a rainstorm because that dude's getting struck by lightning. Okay, because their luck sucks ass, and so that sucks. I mean, it's like we're not. I think I saw. I don't know if it was Landon Atkinson or somebody posted. We ain't going to the frickin' casino here. Like this ain't a lottery. Like what are we doing? We're racing. Earn your spot. And with the current format, I get what they're trying to do. I do. I understand they're trying to make the heat races matter more, but I don't believe that points is it, because there's only a couple drivers racing for points anyway. And a lot of drivers are looking at it like, well, shit, if I'm in the top four, I'm good because I'm in the redraw. Heats don't pay nothing. I don't care. So they just want to get in the redraw. So I don't know that I put in the comments below, right? Let us know what you think. You know, if you got some strong feelings, let us know, let your promoters know, let somebody know. If you want this changed, now's the time to be getting a hold of all your promoters to implement this change. So let's get into it, boys. This is my favorite part of the show right here, studs and duds. Okay, this is where we talk about the drivers that have had some really good weekends, maybe not so much weekends, right? But first a shout out, Brad Parsons Soil and Ag Solutions. So harvest time is here, right? That's money making time for those of you that don't understand farming. I only understand farming enough to know that this is when the money's made. Okay. I do know that much, right? But how do you make more money? Better yields. How do you get better yields? Putting the right stuff in those spray packages. Now, Brad Parson, he's been putting together some spray packages for people. He has the right stuff. Give him a call at 320-219-3542 to learn about the products that they've been using and that are proven now for multiple years, especially if you're out in western Minnesota, North and South Dakota. They've been using these products. They've had great results. A lot of racing people out there that are in farming that utilize his products. He's in the racing community. Why not give him a call to see if you can have a better 2026 farming season? So, national scene, studs and duds. We talked a little bit about the World 100, but more stuff happened this past weekend. We'll go Bert, we'll go Changa, we'll go me. Studs and duds. Bert, you go first.
Well, I mean, we talked about him earlier. You have to go RTJ. I have to go RTJ, winning his first crown jewel at Eldora. It's always been a track that's kind of haunted him, I think, ever since he lost that Lucas championship there a couple of years ago. So to get that monkey off his back, an accomplishment.
And like you said, I never even made that recollection. Not only was this his first World 100, but this is his first crown jewel at Eldora too, isn't it?
Yes.
So hasn't won the Dream, the Dirt Track World Championship. Cool stuff for RTJ. How about duds?
All right, Duds. I'm gonna start calling him the turtle, and he better paint this car green. Um, Turtle Color, Brandon Overton. Whoever goes into that Longhorn house car is slower than molasses. I don't know what it. I don't know if they're doing more R&D than they are, racing to win or what's going on. But it's just amazing. I mean, one of the features. I mean, because he was on my team, so I especially paid attention to what he did. I think it was the first night he started on the outside pole and in the feature, and he finished 14th. I mean, that's not Brandon Overton racing.
He has not been good, and maybe somebody should get a hold of Steve Arpin and just ask him, right? Because Longhorns are clearly winning the lion's share of racing, right? They're winning most of the races, but the Longhorn house car, they are allergic to winning. They must not like winning. They're like, we want all of our other cars to win. I would not want to be in that seat. There's no way. Bert, you're spot on. Changa.
Well, I figured I'd leave all the late model stuff for you two, so I'm going to go with a sprint car guy. I'm going to go with David Gravel. I think I had him last week too, but now he extended his streak. He's up to 15 straight top fives, and then he won the only World Outlaw race we had this last week. So I put David Gravel as my stud.
And his point lead is what, 176, is almost 200 points. I mean, he's in a runaway right now in the points.
And then I'll go with the same dud as last week too. I think I had Brad Sweet last week. Sorry, his last 6 races were 17th, 13th, and 19th at Skagit, and I talked about that last week. And they went to Port Royal this week, and he had a solid 10th, 10th, 12th. So 6 straight races, 10th or worse for Brad Sweet. So he's not doing so hot here lately.
Yeah, a lot of times he'll fifth place you to death and still win that championship, but yeah, 2 straight weekends, 3 races in a row at each track where his best finish was 10th. And let's face it, the star power in the high limits is a little bit down, right, with some injuries and stuff. So I don't know. Yeah, he's struggling for sure. So it's hard not to pick Dale McDowell, right? I mean, first, and then 17th to 2nd. I mean, he was unbelievable. I mean, he was RTJ, as mediocre as he was to win. McDowell was consistently, well, I mean, Davenport and McDowell were consistently the 2 best cars, but you think about it, did they say he's 59 years old? I think they said that about 4,000 times,
Yes.
right? Basically, like, this
Yeah,
old
'cause
fucking guy right here, this old guy, he's still fast. This old guy right here.
I saw an interview with him after the race, and he said, "Yeah, if I keep coming back, I'm going to be 60 by the time I come back here next year for the World 100." So
Yeah, no kidding. Sprint cars, right? So McDowell in the late model. Sprint cars, you got Aaron Reitzel. He had a month and a half off. Remember, he got hurt. It was at Eldora, right? Where he got hurt. He comes back. He had kind of get back into it. He got 11th night 1. Then he got first on night 2, and he got third on night 3 at Port Royal after a month and a half off. But how about the kid, Ryan Timms? So he wins the Knoxville Nationals, and he follows that up with a 58,000 to win at the 58th annual Tuscarora 50 at Port Royal. That kid's impressive, guys. I mean, he is. I don't know what kind of backing that they obviously have good equipment. He's winning big races. There's no question. But I hope that is a high caliber team, because that's a kid right there that could 1,000% contend for a championship, whether it's in the World of Outlaws or in the high limits, and it would be super fun to see. As far as duds, how about what did Rico do this weekend? I mean, he literally
Not a lot.
dominated.
He's just better than Sweet.
Yeah, just barely better than Sweet. Dominated, sweeps the weekend at Skagit, and then he follows that up with a pretty ho-hum weekend. I think he was just inside the top 10. But yeah, interesting stuff there. And I got to go with the other dud here on the late models, Bert. I got to go with I think ass kicking. Where's your shirt? Where I don't see it this week. Ass kicking coming. What is that?
In the
No, not
laundry.
yet. Yeah, oh, it's in the laundry.
huh?
Bobby Pierce was
Oh,
not good. Not good. He
Yeah.
he wasn't absolutely got up. Where did Pierce end up? He was top 10. What do you get? 6th, 7th,
Ninth.
I think
9th?
9th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's as soon as I saw the track, and Bobby Pierce can win on anything. It's Bobby Pierce, right? But the fact of the matter is, if the cushion was lower all weekend long, I felt like he probably had a little bit better chance to win. That's a Dale McDowell. I was surprised to see RTJ get it done on that, but Pierce just pretty lackluster weekend at the World 100 for Bobby Pierce. Let's jump into local late models here. Bert.
Actually, I have nothing for local late models.
Sounds good. He doesn't like the sites. No, I'm kidding. We literally we shared an account and I kept bumping him off there. They do have it on replay on Dirt Race Central, so you can jump on there.
Well,
But
if we would have done the show Wednesday night, I was going to watch it Wednesday during the day because I have Wednesday off.
yeah, with the Wissota 100 happening though, they're a full slate of racing tomorrow. We're like, we got to get the show in now. We got to get it in now for
No,
sure.
that's fine.
All right, that's all right. So me and Changa here. So Changa, give me your stud or multiple if you have them. Studs and duds here for the local late models.
Well, my stud, I'll go with Cole Schill. 4 of his last 5 races in the top 4. He won the Sites race there last week after swapping the lead with TPO, a really good race, and drove away from Dustin Strand late to win it. Car was awesome. Had a lot of drive, and boy oh boy was he making that thing wide when he was out front too. So Cole
That thing
Schill's
had
gonna be
that thing had some dig. That thing had like he wasn't maybe quite as good in the middle of the corner, but when he was going straight forward, that thing launched off the corner, and that has to be without question the biggest win of his career. I mean, the John Seitz Memorial is some drivers would say that's bigger than the Wissota 100 to them. That
Mhm.
is that is a race where everybody comes to. The car count is always fantastic at that. Cole Schill, a kid that super consistent, doesn't win a ton of races, but he's always takes care of his shit. He's not a hazard out there. He's always in the kind of in the hunt for a top 5, but kind of an underdog, right? When you look at the field of cars, you got TPO, you got Strand, you got Searing, you got Becker, right? You got AJ Demo. These are drivers you're looking at. You're like, hey, these are the guys. One of these guys is going to win the race, right? Cole Schill, underdog story, great win, great win, great to see him get that done.
So with that, I guess I'm going to go with TPO as my dud. You know, he had probably the fastest car. He worked on Schill for a long time. Finally gets by him, right? Then they get a late yellow, and I don't know. I felt like he kind of inexplicably just drove the thing back to the top and let Schill have his lane all to himself on the bottom there, and let him sneak back by. And then he had to go back to work trying to, it took him forever to pass him the first time, and now he's got like 5 laps to go to try to do it again, and ended up turning him around, sending him sailing off the racetrack backwards, getting himself sent to the back, trying to get back around him. So I'm going to go with TPO. God, he just knows how to give that one away late. He's done it a couple times now. So TPO is going to be my dud.
I think he had the best car too.
Oh.
He's that one's got to sting him. I mean, he kind of had the incident. I think it was his rookie year where I think it was Demel he got into in the back straightaway and sent him around too. And
I think he
um,
drove off the track leading one time or
I
something,
think
didn't he?
he might have, yeah. But I mean, quite honestly, I mean, he did allude to the fact that he was making the car wide, but he understands, right? He's a racer. He's trying to win too. It's 9,200 to win. It's a John Seitz Memorial. I'm gonna make that car as wide as I can, right? If I'm in the lead and there's only a handful of laps left to go, I'm gonna fucking go from the wall to the infield to the wall to the. I'm moving around. We
It's
saw Daryl
92 cents to win. I would do that.
True, true. We saw Daryl Nelson do that a couple weeks ago with Jody Belfi,
Yeah.
and Jody could have turned him a couple different times. And I don't think TPO meant to turn him. There's no freaking chance, right? But he had such fast closing speed. I mean, he closed like that in a hurry, and it just all it took was that one shot, and bam, around he went. And Schill was lucky he didn't get wrecked in that deal, right?
Right.
Really lucky.
Well, same thing tonight. He was leading the heat race and ended up spun around in front of the whole field and ended up winning the heat race too. So
TPO did.
No, Schill
Oh,
won his
Shell.
heat race,
Oh,
but he was leading the
okay.
heat race, but wound up spun around and right in front of the whole field, and Bravo ended up getting a flat in that deal.
So he's got a little bit of a horseshoe coming
Yeah,
around right now
for
too.
sure.
That's what it takes. So I'm gonna go. Oh boy. So I got a couple shout outs here, right? I got to give a shout out to the X Factor Jesse Glenn's. Bert, I don't know if you saw the results. Did you watch it? Did you see the results or anything for the sites? You still gonna watch it regardless or what?
I just saw that Glenn's got second, right?
Plus 17. Plus 17. That's a hell of a run. 19th to second is impressive. And I get it. A little bit of luck. Couple guys fell out, whatever. But 19th to second, however you do it, is outstanding. Um, Another guy you got to give a shout out to, Ashley Anderson. He just constantly in the top 5 at every single invitational. Fourth and a second this week. Nitro, James G.O.A.T, a solid win. But I think my stud of the week is going to be Kevin Eater, right? He has an impressive week 2 weeks ago at the Labor Day shootout from 10th. And then this week he backs it up with a Northern Nationals win. And the end of that race was outstanding. Bert, that's worth a watch on XR on the replay there as well. They got into lap traffic there, and lap traffic was kind of battling for position. And here comes Kyle Peterlin on the bottom. He started like fifth, sixth row in that deal. He gets in the hunt. He's there. He's on the bottom. He's kind of working. And here comes Burdick sailing around the outside. And they're like a blanket over the top 3 at the end of that race at Superior. Character in the racetrack. They got some rain, a lot of rain last week throughout the week before the races, but it ended up being a very exciting finish on night number 1. And then Eater backed it up. I think he got a 5th on day 2. So Kevin Eater has really put together the start of a really, really solid invitational season. Hope he can continue that on this week down at Fergus Falls. My dud, and this is painful, this buddy of mine, I like this kid. He's gonna be pissed when I give him this. Bert, what is my 2 things that I say, like, if you do this, kind of a dumbass. Kind
Don't
of a
tighten the lug
dumbass.
nuts.
They did tighten their lug nuts. He finished P4.
Don't scale.
Okay?
Don't scale.
Or what goes along with scales?
Light.
Tech,
Deck height.
right?
Oh,
Tech
deck.
shed. Mike Gresseth, P4 in the feature. Start on the pole, backpedal a little bit. He's more of a slippery, dry slick track guy. Still had a good run. That's still probably $3,000-4,000 for 4th place, right? Got to be somewhere in that vicinity. He goes to the scales, drives back to his trailer. My sources tell me that he come back on his pit bike. Hey, am I supposed to be in tech? Yeah, you were supposed to be in tech there, guy. Too late now. You went back to your trailer, got DQ'd P4 at the sites. It's like his home track. That's where he races. Like, I mean, top 5. You go to tech. I don't know what. I mean, come on. I mean that he's an. I don't even know what to say on that one. He knows better. Kid, he's multiple time national champion. Kid's won a shit ton of races. He like, how do you not go to tech? Like, what are you doing, right? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right, let's jump into the modifieds. Bert, do you have anything on the mods? I know you watch Boone anyway.
Yes, I have modified stuff. I'm for all of my studs, I'm gonna go through the Wisconsin drivers who made the feature at Boone. Johnny Whitman finished 12th. Josh Long finished 16th. Zarneski finished 18th, and Zach Robb finished 19th.
Well, you
So
need
there
3
was.
in the top 10, Bert, and you got 0 so far. Okay, so
I
0
know,
so
I
far.
know. Well, and I had 3 who started in the top 10, but none of them stayed in the top 10. But
You got one. You got one.
in the modifieds,
Yeah, in the modifieds.
3 Wisconsin drivers started in the top 10, but none
Right.
of them finished in the top 10. But just to make that feature is an accomplishment. So
Well, they have the 270 cars or whatever. I mean, that's I mean, and Bert, did you watch any of the prelim stuff from Boone Super
no,
Nationals?
I did not.
Holy shit, man. There was 23rd to second, 20th to, I mean, the amount of passing and the cars moving, just look at the box scores, right? Of the finishing and where they started. It's like, wow, right? I mean, there was some really, really big movers and shakers, and yeah, making that show that's a feat. That is definitely a feat for sure.
So I guess if you want to go duds, it would be the 12 other Wisconsin drivers who went to Boone but didn't qualify for the feature.
Shitters. Gotta have a lot of luck on your side to make it in there
Yep.
too. The rollover count was, I think, over 30 down there too. So they wreck a lot of shit, and there was a lot of good racing. It was an exciting time. All right, Changa, your mods.
Okay, so I'll put him on the other end of the spectrum now. I'm going to go with TPO as my stud in the mod. He started sixth at the sites. He drove the thing right to the lead and just checked out. Drove away from a lot of really good race cars. Won by like 8 seconds, and that thing was absolutely bolted. Went right to the top. Never had to leave there. I mean, lap traffic never even began to slow him up. So he was just incredible in that mod at the site. So he's going to be my stud. And then my dud this week, I'm going to go with Kennedy Swan. And I know that might not be real nice, right? But you go back a couple of weeks to the classic at Grand Rapids. She had a top 5 finish in 4th there, thinking, all right, well, that's a nice start to your invite season. Then since that, she's had an 18th and a 14th at Rice Lake, and a 21st and a 19th last week at Gondix. So what started out promising is kind of going right back to the norm, I guess.
Yeah, hopefully she can have a good week. She's going to the legendary 100, so let's see that 18S, see if she can get it in the show down there and have a good run. So I'm gonna go. I gotta go Well, I got a couple shout outs. I got Brandon Kopp probably gonna get thrown in jail for stealing, because he stole one from Cody Carlson. Cody Carlson kind of had a ho-hum season, right? And it looked like he's going to win the Northern Nationals. It's over, right? And in the closing laps, Brandon Kopp put on an absolute epic move in between a lapper and him, slid up in front, took the line away, and drove off to win the Northern Nationals. Brando's put together a hell of a season. He's really has. So congrats, Brandon Kopp, on that. I got Jody Belfi had a good weekend, right? He won night number 1. Night number 2, I think he got 4th, night number 2 at the Northern Nationals. Kind of looking through my notes here. Blake Adams did get a 2nd. He went to the sites. We might have had somebody on our group chat chirping, right? Oh, he's overrated. We got 2nd to TPO. Okay, so let's relax a little bit. That's kind of like a win, right? It's kind of like a win. But he took over the point lead as well, Bert. I got it right here. Right now, going into the Wissota 100, okay? Blake Adams at 16:44, 3 points ahead of the 7A of Shane Sabraski. We got a battle. We got a battle in the modified. So that's going to be fun this week at the Wissota 100. Tyler Cater had a good weekend this weekend. Very limited schedule for Cater, but he got a pair of seconds this weekend, Changa. He got 2nd behind Seth Breedy at KRA. Then he got 2nd behind Tony Colnold at Madison. So a good weekend for Tyler Cater, who's really had a very limited schedule this year. But I will give the stud to Joe Chisholm. He doubled up. USRA, what were they? The North Star Nationals down at Mississippi Thunder Speedway. And a ton of the USMTS hitters were down there. And then you add in Brandon Davis and Josh Hanks and the locals doubling up down there. Big weekend for Joe Chisholm. Good old smoking the competition. Did you guys happen to see the drama down there, though, on night number 1? Did you guys see any clips of that on Facebook? Little drama there. Jim Chisholm. It's Jim Chisholm versus the world down there. He not like he wins races. If you win races, you're not liked. It just is what it is. Well, he had an aggressive move on the start, and he took a hard left coming from the outside, drove over Brandon Davis's right front. And on the phone, it didn't look like there was much contact. And then he showed a picture of his tie rod that was literally bent in a U. So he clipped his right front hard enough, spun him around in the circle, wadded up the field. I think it wrecked Lucas Schott's car. They were chirping. There was a lot of conversation on social media on that one. Um, another thing that was happened, probably I'm not going to give him the dud because I have a different dud. Possibly the most painful thing to watch all weekend in the modifieds was Brady Utanen.
Oh,
Ninth to first, he was so good on the bottom. He tracked down Jody Belfi, drove by him on the bottom. I'm like, this is over. Because he had a pretty good weekend last weekend, too. Really good weekend, actually, last weekend. I'm like, he's going to win this deal. Restart comes out, and he just had it went to hell in a handbasket, Bert. He backpedaled on the restart. He got a bad start. I don't know if he blazed them, but he slid up, and they went by him low. They went by him high, and one way or another, ends up turned around, spun out after leading, and it was just painful to see. It was a tough deal for Brady. Curtis, you know what guy, Changa, that I kind of been seeing in the results all year? Curtis Stye.
geez. Yeah, yeah, he
Huh?
got like third. He got like third the first night, I think, at Gondik.
14th to 3rd. So I mean, we see up in Thunder Bay, we see Brandon Kopp, and we kind of see the regulars all the time, him and Chernosky and all that. But Curtis Stye's been like third, fourth, almost every single night up there. I'm looking forward next week to getting up there and watching this kid race. The dud of the week, though, I got to give it to the deck height Nazis, and this is no indictment on the tech officials at Gondikla Speedway. This ain't on them. The rules there. It's been there for 4 or 5 years. He just honestly, I'm critical of tech guys. Everybody knows that he is just doing his job, and he treats everybody equal. There's been a lot of DQs for Deckite, but oh my God, Nick Ayotte, 22nd to second on night number one. That, I mean, just he's had a rough year, right? And 22nd to second at the Northern Nationals is like, holy shit, kid, good job. I look at the results, Dairy Queen gift certificate for Deckite. I'm like, oh my God, right? I mean, I felt so freaking bad for the kid because it could be anything. It could be, it's such a stupid ass rule. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just going to ask you. I mean, drivers know they're going to check for deck height. Why are people not within the limit?
The track was choppy. It was rough, right? I mean, I have no idea why he was high, right? But all it takes is you hit I mean, a lot of people tore up a lot of shit. Night number one, there's a lot of DNFs, right? All it would take is you bend a mount, you bend something on the left rear. Any stupid
Well,
thing could happen, and the car's stuck up in the air a little bit. That's it. It might
my
not have been a setup deal even.
my question then is, why don't they check deck height before the cars go out for the heat or for the
Because
race?
us racers are a bunch of cheaters, right? What we would do is we'd all have some kind of an apparatus in the car that holds the car down. And then as soon as you get on the track, you'd burp it, and all of a sudden you'd break the zip tie or whatever, and the car would pop
Okay.
up. But the fact of the matter is, nobody drives wrong. And I get it. This is not on the Superior Tech guy because they DQ'd 4 people in the Challenge Series race a week before, right? So it is what it is. It just I get it. They already DQ'd people tonight at I-94 as well. But the fact of the matter is, cars do not drive around the track at ride height. They don't, right? They don't. They don't. They're do something different with this rule. I mean, I get it. It sucks, but I wish there was a better way to maybe the droop rule, but some tracks just are not set up to be able to check that because you got to have a nice flat surface. I don't know. I just it sucks every time you see somebody that maybe needs a good run and then they have a good run and then they get nabbed. It's like, I felt bad for the kid because he did really have a really good race. So that would be my dud would be the deck height rule in general. So let's jump into the super stocks. But first, a shout out to our friends in Ashland, Wisconsin, Fast Lane Motorsports and Powder Coating, home of the Galloper chassis, but they do so much more, right? They are the part vendor up there at all the northern tracks, Superior, Proctor, Ashland. They can get parts, they can drop ship, they can do whatever, custom fabricating, powder coating, sandblasting. I mean, Chris, they sponsor a lot of people, a lot of series, including the Northland Superstock series. And I know they're going to be sponsoring in part the 50th annual Red Clay Classic, just a couple weeks away. Tonga and I are looking forward to getting to that one. But I tell you, Chris and the gang up in Ashland, Fastlane Motorsports and powder coating, second to none. They do a great job. Get a hold of them for all your racing needs. So, Tonga, Superstocks.
Bert, don't want to go? No?
No, I don't.
So this is going to be a first for me, but my stud's going to be Kurt Myers. He went to Gondik on Friday for the Northern Nationals. Has a heck of a win, passed some good cars to get it, and to take over the Wissota National point lead, right? By like a point right now.
He is 3 points ahead of 7A, 1667 to 1664.
Okay. So, hell of a job. So, he's also going to be my dud, because what does he do Saturday? Figures, well, Sobraski ain't running. I don't need to race. I'll just load up and leave Superior and just go home and not race on Saturday.
Or Sunday.
Yeah, just made no
Or
sense.
Sunday.
Right?
Yep.
But you're already in Superior and you just won, and now you load up and go home. It just don't make any sense to me.
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
going to elaborate on that too, because
I would
he's my
like to
dud.
hope that there was some other circumstance that prevented it, but that's not what I've heard so far.
Yeah, my sources tell me no. So so he did have a good week, right? He won night one. Now, I don't know if he might have still won, but Joey Jensen broke a trailing arm, bent a trailing arm, broke a trailing arm leading on night number one. So he inherited the lead. Jensen goes on to win night number two, and he won both nights in the Midwest Mod, right? So Jensen had a hell of a good weekend. I want to give a special shout out Trevor Nelson. Trevor Nelson making the long tour. I think that might have been his first time to the Gondik Class Speedway, maybe his second, I think first. But he went all the way from essentially Aberdeen all the way to Superior for the Northern Nationals. And I know that Jordan Hinkemeyer prompted him. He elbowed him a bunch. Come on, come with me. So shout out to Jordan for getting him over there. But he got second on night number one, was in second night number two, and incident there between him and the 78K. And both of them end up DNFing that one. And I know there was that they're not going to be sending each other Christmas cards. Let's just put it that way. Okay. But I got to give my stud to Rick Simpson. He's been good. Podium finish at the Labor Day shootout the week before. This weekend, guys, he ran 3 shows. He gets third both nights at the Northern Nationals, which tough field of cars right there. And then he did make the trip all the way down to frickin' Madison on Sunday, left with the dub. So all Thunder Bay to Madison, Minnesota, that's a hike, right? So I was surprised to see him make the trip down there. My assumption, though, is if he made the trip down there, he's probably going to the 100. So he's probably hit that on the way down there, which is super cool. I hope he is there. But Rick Simpson, he's put together a couple really nice weekends. Also, got to give a shout out here to Bo Brown winning the special, the double header, or the I guess they had Heats one night features the next, but the special up at Gallatin Speedway, holding off Stephenson and Meerhofer to get it done. Big win up there for Bo Brown. Good to see that. My dud though, there's no way that it can be anybody other than Kurt Myers. So they announced that he announced that he's retiring at the end of the season. Illustrious career. He's won multiple national championships. He's won a ton of races. He's heavily involved with the racing industry, right? Builds cars. His kid is turning into a really good racer. He's literally right now, he's 3 points ahead of Sobraski for the national point lead, right? Both of them are chucking 53-point shows. The fact my sources told me that he said, well, if Shane's not racing on Saturday or whatever, then I'm not going to race either. What the hell does that have to do with anything? Like, what you're trying, go out a champion, go out winning this deal. Why would you not be there night number 2? I don't understand. You've raced all he did this a couple years back. He was battling for a natty, and he's like, I'm going to take the last week and I'll go hunting or whatever. The fuck are you doing? Like, how can you? I don't get it. It drives me nuts. If you're going to just give up or whatever, not go the extra mile the last couple weeks of the season. Why the hell did you try so hard all season long? Like, you drive all the way to Grand Rapids for $400 to win on a Thursday, but you're not going to stay in Superior for 12 or 1500 to win or whatever it was. I don't get it, right? Kurt, what are you doing there, guy? Right? You have a shot to win this deal. It is not easy beating the 7A. You're going to go head to head with them now this weekend at Ferguson and go, oh, I'm going to, good luck. Good luck with that. I don't think he's going to beat the 7A this weekend. That's just my opinion, but maybe he feels differently. All right. Sport mods, Bert, and then Bert, Chonga and I will roll into Midwest mods.
All right, sport mods. These are the drivers who made the big dance at the Super Nationals. The Wisconsin drivers. Jeff Steenbergen finished 10th in the sport mod feature. Corey Kempkis took 16th, and Coy Vlies finished 26th. So
he must
those were
have DNF'd, right? He DNF'd
yeah, I
at
don't
26.
yeah, he didn't finish. So those were the three drivers who made the feature, and there were 19 Wisconsin Sport Mod drivers who made the trip and participated in the Super Nationals.
Did they get a trophy too?
Just thank you for coming and thank you for the donation.
Okay.
All right, Chonga, Midwest mods.
Well, I don't. There's probably nobody else you can really give it to after last weekend. Joey Jensen, right after a rough week last week, redeems himself. Got a sweep on Friday, winning the feature there at Gondik, and with Tyler Vernon finishing second. Saturday, got a second to Vernon in the heat, but won the feature with Vernon finishing third. And then made the long trek to Madison on Sunday and got a sweep down there and retook the national point lead by 1 point, I believe, isn't it, Ryan?
1700 for Joey, 1699 for Tyler Vernon going into the Wissota 100. Both of them are chucking 55-point shows. So there'll be a ton of cars down there this weekend. So a first and a second, a first in the heat, a second in the feature down there will be a 56. They'll be able to gain a point with a first and a second. Otherwise, they need to win the feature. So she's a big, big weekend for them guys. You got any duds?
My duds, I've got three of them. I'm going to go with all the Blevins cars last weekend at Gondik. So I believe Sam wasn't there on Friday, but between the three of them, they got a 12th, 18th, 15th, 16th, and 19th at Gondik Speedway last weekend. So rough weekend for them boys.
So it's easy to go Joey, right? 3 wins and takes over the point lead. That's a big, big week at invite time. That's a big, big week right there. But I'll go J Money. I'll go Jake Smith, right? That's all he does. Big money shows. Jake Smith wins them. That's what he does. I don't know where he's going this week. I assume he typically goes to the legendary 100 at Cedar. But he just keeps cashing in. Every time there's a big money show, he's in the conversation. He won the sites. Now, Landon Rant might have won that deal. I think he bent a J-bar, but I'm not sure. Looked like the rear end was shoved to the left, and Jake Smith ended up getting by him late. Rant might have won that deal. I'm assuming he broke, but Jake Smith has put together a really, really good season. Not battling for the Natty. He's not running enough shows, but he's hitting all the money shows, and he's winning them all. So it's pretty tough to bet against that. As far as I want to give another shout out here. Ryan Flotten's put together a hell of a season. He got second behind Joey. Seems like he's first, second, third every night. I mean, I have not done the points that far back, but I feel like he has a legit shot at cracking himself up inside the top 10 in the biggest class in Wissota, right? This is where the numbers of cars are. Getting in the top 10 here is different than getting in the top 10 in most other classes. So Ryan Flotten putting together a season. But I got to give the dud to Tyler Vernon, right? You got the point lead coming in. Didn't have a bad week. Second and a third. Normally you'd be like, it's a good weekend. This is where redraw maybe hurts a little bit, right? He probably started a little further back, but he needed one. He needed to win one of them. But then for him, I'm sure he had to work or whatever he had to go on, but after that, I figured maybe he would have followed Joey down to Madison. And, you're that close for a national title, and I get it. I mean, I was talking to other drivers, and they're like, "Where was Vernon?" I'm like, "I don't really know. I figured he would have gone there, but yeah." And remember, let's not forget. I mean, I get it. He did it for a sponsor, but a couple weeks back, he took a whole weekend off, right? And I mean, you had that weekend in, and I understand that's a big money event that he put together, and I understand why he did it, but boy, oh boy, you have like one shot here to win a national championship, and he might have more, down the road. But when you're that close, I feel like don't leave any stone unturned. And him, kind of the same deal with Myers. You skip in that show, there's only so many left here at the end of the year. You got to take advantage. So street stocks or stock cars, Bert, IMCA stock cars, and then street stocks.
All right, there were 3 Wisconsin drivers who made the big dance at the Super Nationals. Cole Zarneski finished 16th, so Cole Zarneski qualified for the big dance in the modified and stock car, so that's quite an accomplishment
It
right
is.
there. And Jared Seifert finished 20th in the stock car feature, and Jeremy Christians finished 22nd. And in total, 30 IMCA stock car drivers from Wisconsin went to Boone.
Wow, they represented well down there then.
Yep.
So not the results they wanted, but again, it's a who's who of IMCA
Right.
stock cars. I mean, it took every last effort for Kelly Shryock to even get into the show, and that's Kelly Shryock. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's a tough deal. All right, Changa, street stocks.
So street stocks, I'm going to go with Keith Tourville this week. Got back from his suspension after the winning and then not winning the Little Dream there. Comes back, his first 2 races back. He sweeps at Wilmer and then won again at Madison. So Keith Tourville, my stud of the week. Okay, my dud of the week, I'm going to go with Cole Gresseth, right? I mean, pretty tough to give this guy a dud or put him on the dud list ever, right? But so he comes into the sights weekend, riding a high. He's hotter than a pistol, 4 wins in a row, right? Wins his heat race, starts on the pole, takes the lead right off the bat. He's pulling away. A yellow comes out, and then he's like, I remember Changa picked me to win this fucking thing. I better just put the backup beeper on and go finish 5th. And so that's what he did.
Did he
So
break something? Did you reach out? Did you find out if he
no, I
maybe
didn't
broke
reach it.
something?
No.
Because usually I can't imagine him going from 1st to 5th without something happening. That was a hell of a race up front.
Mm-hmm.
Parker Anderson, Justin Vogel, Trey Hess. I mean, Vogel and Anderson swapping sliders, crossovers. I mean, that was impressive. But I mean, I got to give it to Parker Anderson. I mean, pretty limited schedule. Took a year off, tried the mod gig, go back into a street stock, and goes out, wins. He's never won the sites. He's won the Prelude, but he never won the site. So that's a first ever John Sites Memorial for Parker Anderson. I expect to see him run very strong down here at the WISSOTA 100. Got to give a shout out. Zach Flickinger's a name that it seems like a guy top 3 every night. He's another guy not stacking wins, but I seen his name every time I'm writing results down. Flickinger is a kid that has literally been contending for podiums all year long. So I want to give a shout out to him as well. Dylan Hopp, he won the special out at Gallatin. So Dylan Hopp getting it done out there. Petrov DNF. I'm not sure what happened to Rob. So the duds, I don't know who to give this one to. Feels like probably WISSOTA as a whole, maybe, because something painful could happen here, guys, for WISSOTA street stock drivers in 2026. So Jeff Brower built a USRA stock car, very similar to an IMCA stock car, except they can run quick changes, a little bit different, similar. But Braden Brower, who hasn't really raced this year, got that car done, debuted it this past weekend, and ran down a Mississippi Thunder. Did you see Colton Brower was down there too? Now, keep in mind, guys, they're from Iota, Minnesota, which is in between Rochester and La Crosse down there on I-90. There's no WISSOTA tracks down there. right? So I haven't confirmed this, right? But if I were them where I lived, I'd be like, I ain't gonna travel all over the place to chase WISSOTA. They got USRA stock cars. I'm anticipating there's a very real possibility that we could see the Browers racing USRA moving forward. And logistically, it makes sense. I certainly hope not, because I really enjoy watching them race in WISSOTA land, but things aren't looking good. I can tell you that. Grassroots. You got any grassroots, Bert?
No.
Okay, Changa.
Well, not a whole lot going on this last weekend in the grassroots, so I'm gonna go. My stud will go back to Tony Jensen. Won 10 of his last 11 Hornet races, and he swept the MPH Invitational over the weekend at Granite City. So Tony Jensen will be my stud. And then I guess for my dud, I'm going to go with Dean Larson. His last 4 races, he's got a ninth, a second, a seventh, and an 11th. And then he got an 11th at the MPH invite this weekend. And then now he's lost his national point lead. I believe now isn't Dustin Holtquist take the lead by like 1 point.
So Dustin Holtquist has 1100, and yes, Dean Larson has 1099. That is correct. Both of them chucking 53-point shows. That's a really good battle right there. So in fact, to elaborate on that, Holtquist at 1100, Dean Larson at 1099. Then you have the kid Ashton Schwinn, second generation racer. He's at 1092. So he's only 8 points back himself. He's chucking 53s. He could put with a good. I don't think they have any more races this weekend. It's WISSOTA 100. They have the MPH, but next weekend a couple wins. He could be right in the thick of this thing. There's 3 nights. He can run Princeton Friday, and then I believe he'll be at Bemidji Saturday and Sunday. So if the weekend goes right, Ashton Schwinn could possibly be the national point leader coming out of that. But it is a really good battle up front in the Mod 4s. Any duds?
Gave you my dud was Dean Larson.
You did. So the dud is Ryan for not listening. So the winners at the MPH, Bert, which is Mod 4's Pure Stocks Hornets. That's what that stands for. They had it at the Granite City Motor Park. That is their version of the WISSOTA 100 for the grassroots class. Keith fell in the 00. Tyler Larson and Dustin Holtquist, your top 3 in the Mod 4s. And we just talked about the points. In the Pure Stocks, though, 3 Grand Rapids regulars in the top 3. Jake Smith, who's been strong all year long, he got it done in the 86. Austin Carlson, second. And then former national champion Josh Berg, he got third. Now, the point battle there, Dustin Puffy, he's at 1105, and Jake Smith is at 1094. So it's 11 points. Dustin Puffy wasn't there. He wasn't there. He wrecked the weekend before, and we're going to get to that in a second. In the Hornets, Tony Jensen has been on fire. And I got to be honest with you, the enthusiasm that I see with this kid every time he wins a race is electrifying. Bert, he's on top of his car. He is so jacked up, pumped up. Like he is vying to try to win a national title. That's Dustin Nelson's son-in-law, by the way. I don't know if you knew that, Changa.
I didn't.
But super, super fun seeing this kid win. So congratulations, Tony, on that. It's a big one for you. Russ Kiker Jr. second. Bill Lane got third. And second place. So the point standings in that right now, Tony Jensen is at 1110. And Jeff Roner is at 1106 right now. And he is, they're both chucking 54s. Brady Fosso, who had a rough night, he's at 1099. So he's 11 points back. Still possible to get in this thing. Roner wasn't there either. Roner was not there. So my dud is not the drivers for not showing up. Okay. In 2024, Bert, they literally were DQing people for the stupidest shit that is like they DQ'd a person for a trailing arm, right? They on the trailing arm, that's the rear end arms on the rear suspension. He had a 1/2 inch bolt and a standard bolt instead of a metric bolt, and they DQ'd him for having a standard bolt. So I didn't talk to Roner. right? But I did talk to Puffy. I'm like, where the hell were you? What are you doing? Why are you not there? He's like, well, I tore the car up and I really wasn't in a hurry to get down there and get DQ'd for whatever kind of stupid shit they could fabricate. Fully understand. Fully understand. In fact, back to the street stocks, if you're Colton Brower, yeah, with who knows what they're going to come up with to DQ somebody with, right? And it's not been as bad this year. There's a possibility that he just says, screw it, I'm not racing the rest of the year. I'll just go race USRA because I can't get DQ'd for something stupid if I'm not racing. That's sad that you have to look at it that way, right? And maybe it's not quite that way anymore, but it certainly was for a little while.
Say,
So that
do they still do the bonus points for going to the
no,
100?
no, they got rid of that. They got rid of that. They used to. Bert, do you know what he's talking about there?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got, thank God they got rid of that. It's no longer the hijack 100. So now we're gonna give a quick shout out here to East Central Sports. So Mac and the gang just north of the Twin Cities in Rush City, right off I-35. East Central Sports is your #1 source for pit bikes, kids ATVs, golf carts, Toro lawnmowers, and a whole lot more. Really, really cool stuff over there at East Central Sports. Had a hell of a display at A-Days. So $100 gift count, $100 discount if you mention that you heard about them on the One to Go show. You can call them at 320-358-1994 or check them out at www.eastcentralsports.com. Natty Trivia, Changa got it right last week with the cowboy, Travis Sauer, and Bert's turn to give some clues this week.
All right. Before we get into the natty trivia, though, I got a couple of things from Super Nationals because
Okay.
I watched the auction after the races because they auctioned off the engines, the motors from the winners from the modified stock cars, sport mods, and hobby stocks. Now it used to be they would auction off the top four from each feature, I think, back in the day, and it was always interesting to see how much they would get, but it's not that big of a deal anymore because back then you had to give up, you won the race, but you gave up your engine. Well, every winner gets a brand new engine from Carl Performance. So it's not that big of a deal when you give up an engine if you get a brand new one for winning.
That truer words have not been spoken.
But
That is
it's still tradition, so they still auction off the winners. And do you want to take a guess as to which division and motor sold for the most money?
stock car.
No, stock car.
No, that was actually the least.
Really? Okay. Okay, so the mods then?
Nope, mods was second.
Sport mods?
Nope.
Hey,
Hobby stock?
The hobby stock engine sold for $7,600. It had four nights of racing on it, according to the driver.
Wow. Wow. That
The,
I would not have expected that. That is interesting.
the modified engine sold for $7,400. It had 14 nights on it. The stock car, the sport mod engine sold for $7,000. That had 42 nights on it.
Wow.
The stock car engine sold for 5,200. That had 3 nights on it.
Okay. Okay.
So
Interesting. So I'm watching the feature right now. We are what do we got? About 11 laps in. Jordan Tollickson having a rough night. He kind of had a rough go of it there in a heat race. Found himself facing the wrong way again here in the feature. I think he might be pulling off, calling it a night. Lee Gross, Tyler Peterson, Sean Meyer, Joel Bennett, your top four right now at I-94. So in the Pick'ems contest here, finally,
oh
guys.
no, we got trivia.
Oh, I just assumed Changa won already. So, all right. Yeah. Holy shit. All right. What do we got? Go.
All right, you guys ready?
Yes,
Mhm.
sir.
All right. This driver won more than 160 races during his 13-year career. This driver started racing in 1992 when he bought a car from Gordy Lancaster.
John Seitz.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would have never guessed that. I would have guessed it would have been someone from that area.
Well, John Seitz and Gordy Lancaster,
Well,
both from Bemidji.
I wasn't thinking of, I was thinking of a different Gordy brunette.
Yeah. Yeah. The old Wind Rider, Gordy Lancaster, Hall of Famer at the Bemidji Speedway. And then, of course, John Seitz, he passed away. I think it was the 20th annual this year. So, yeah, he won the Superstock National Championship there. And let me guess here, 99?
98.
98. Okay, yeah, 1998. Yeah, I think 1999 then would have been Brad Sang won in 1999. So yeah, the late John Seitz. All right, I got that one. As soon as you mentioned Gordy Lancaster, I got that. His first body. So his family owned Wes's Heating and Sheet Metal. I think that was his dad and his brother, and his first body was actual sheet metal on his Superstock. It was a gray number 92, opposite number of Gordy Lancaster, who was 29. I raced him Bemidji actually quite a bit that year when he was a rookie. So pretty cool stuff. Pick'ems contest, I got lucky. Finally won myself a draft and had the best week. Our standings right now, I'm at 583. I gapped you guys a little bit. Bert and Chonka, you guys are tied, 558. But Objects in Mirror are closer than they appear because Rain Man is only 6 points behind both of you guys. Governor at 537, Dano 533, Uper 527, Coach 517. Holy shit, has he slid? He was back. He was leading. He's an eighth now. Tardy's trying to catch him at 487. Then Worker Bee, Man Bun Dan, Beefcake, and Bromance rounding it out. This week we're picking both nights of the Challenge Series here at I-94. We're picking the Scott Bloomquist Memorial Castro Flow Racing Night in America race at Bulls Gap. We're picking World of Outlaw Sprint Cars. They got 2 races out in California, Bakersfield and Paris. 3 nights of racing for the USMTS Modifieds, the Red, White, and Blue Nationals at Tri-State in Pocola, Oklahoma. That track this year, guys, has had a ton of big shows. Like they've done a lot of big stuff there this year. I got to get there. World of Outlaw late models down in Georgia, Needmore and Sonoya. Mars late models at Davenport and Quincy, Illinois. And then we have the high limit sprints, the Commonwealth Clash at Lernerville. Then we're picking the legendary 100 Saturday finales. Then we're going to do something here just for Bert. They have a 2-day postseason doubleheader invitational in eastern Wisconsin. We got to pick it, Bert. It's a rare thing over there. So the Fall Brawl Friday, Saturday at Outagamie in Seymour. And then we're going to pick the 10,000 win USRA Stock Car Nationals at Deer Creek. So I know I wrote it down. I didn't have you guys write it down. We did a draft this week for the Wissota 100. Do you guys have your team in front of you or no? I do.
Yeah, I do.
I do not.
Chonga has his. So I'll say Bert's, Chonga, first, and then you say yours, and I'll come back to mine. So
Okay.
Bert's team is this. So what we did is we picked 8 drivers between the 5 classes, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. The best 6 drivers count each night. Okay. You picked Tyler Peterson in the late model. Probably a pretty good pick. He's running second right now this is not a 100 night. It's a standalone. Justin Vogel in the street stocks, Brandon Kopp in the modifieds, Alex Myers in the super, Clayton Wagman in the mod, which he hasn't really been racing. I don't know, maybe he'll be at the 100. I'm not sure. Corey Meerworth in the Midwest mod, Austin Niemeyer, who had a nice top 10 finish last year at the 100 in the super stock, and then Joel Bennett in the late model, who currently right now, the night before the 100, he's running 4th right now. See if he can hang on. Tyler Peterson just took the lead on a restart from Lee Gross. Chonga, what is your team?
Okay, my team is Jim Gullickson. It was my first round pick. Not even sure if he's going to be there.
I would have to think so. He got
Okay.
second, I think, last year.
And then I've got Chad Becker in the late model. I've got Jody Belfi in the mod. I've got Dylan Nelson in a super stock. Another guy, David Simpson in a Midwest mod. Not sure if he's coming or not.
Not sure on that one.
Maria Brooksick in a street stock. Danny Vang in the late model. And Dan Ebert in the late model.
So my draft looks something like this. So my first round pick was Cole Searing in the late model. So by the way, Bert picked. We had 13 people in the draft. Bert picked fourth. Changa picked third. I picked 13th. Okay, so I was on the turn. So I got Cole Searing in the late model. My second pick was Eric Riley in the street stock. Then I had Ryan Gierke in the mod and Don Eishens in the mod on the next turn. Then I had street stock driver Nick Trainer and Midwest mod driver Matt Scow on the next turn. And then my 7th and 8th round pick, Caden Blazer in the modified and Tony Liker in the Midwest mod. So good luck, boys, on the draft. 13 of us. We'll see what we can get done here this week. Well,
How many count per night, or how does this work again?
Six count
6.
per night.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And the A mains on Saturday are weighted higher than the prelim nights. And then if your driver gets locked in, you get courtesy points if they get locked in, and so it just kind of works out that way. All right, so our bold predictions here to wrap things up. So we make 3 bold predictions every single week, racing related. Sometimes Changa makes a prediction, so they're not real bold, and we keep track of correct predictions and correct percentages. So holy shit, is Kevin Eater coming again?
Well, Eater too. Eater's up to second.
Yep. Peterson, Kevin Eater, Lee Gross, Dave Moss, Kevin Burdick, your top 5 right now. What is there? 18 laps to go. So Bert, you had 3 come off the board. You said 3 or more Wisconsin drivers would finish in the top 10 in the Boone dances that we picked. You had 1. Only 1. You got that wrong. Then you said that TPO would have a better average finish than Dustin Strand at the sites, and they only got 1 night in, and Strand got 12th, TPO got 13th. So you got that wrong. But you did say this, there would be a first-time winner at the World 100. RTJ got her done for you. You got that correct. All right.
I have a. Didn't I say for Strand and TPO that was in late model and mod?
I don't know. I got the stats here from Uper, so you can challenge that. We can look back into that. I was kind of wondering the same thing there. So the one night they didn't race. So the night TPO won in the mod, Strand only raced the late model.
Oh, okay.
So, but I did write this down though, that TPO got 5th on the night they did race together. TPO got 5th, Strand got 8th. So we're going to have to go back and we're going to have to look into this one. So that's your job. Go back and listen to it when we're done. Let us know what you found. And if it wouldn't surprise me if Uper's trying to pencil fuck you again. That's what he does, right? It's just what he does. Okay.
We'll have to call New York and see what they have to say.
We'll call New York. Yep. We'll call New York on that one. All right. Uper had 2 come off the board. At the MPH, he said the current national point leaders at the time was Dean Larson, Tony Jensen, and Dustin Puffy. 2 of them would win. Well, one of them wasn't there. One of them didn't do very good, and Tony Jensen got it done, so that was wrong. And he said in the high limits, the Pennsylvania posse would win 50% or more of the races. At Port Royal this week, they won 1. They didn't, so they got 33%. That was wrong. Changa, you had 3 come off the board. At Boone, in the races that we picked, modified, stock cars, sport mods, and hobby stocks, you said nobody would pick the winners in at least one of those races. All 4 winners were picked by somebody. You said TPO would win at least 1 mod race and at least 1 late model race this weekend at the sites. He should have won the late model race, but he did not.
He'd win a heat race.
He did win a heat race. Yep. So that was wrong. And you said no podiums for the PA posse. Well, that was clearly wrong as well. I had 3 come off the board. I said that Parker Anderson, Matt Scow, Joe Thomas would each win 1. Anderson did. Thomas led 2 of them and did not win. And Matt Scow, I think he got 4th. So that was
Peter's
wrong.
gonna win this, ain't he?
It's coming. 8 laps to go. Tyler Peterson rolling the bottom. Eater rolling the middle, pulling up within a car length of him down the back straightaway. Gonna roll it into the high side. We got a battle up front here. Kevin Eater looking to go 3 straight weeks with a win. Can it happen? All right,
2 laps behind you too.
Are you really? Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, 7 to go now. Three off the board for me. I had the wrong one, and then I said there would be 10 states represented in the dances that we picked. There was exactly 10. In the mods, Arizona, Kansas, Iowa, Minnesota, California, Colorado. In the stock cars, add in Texas, Nebraska, and Oklahoma. And thank you, Bert, to your Wisconsin boys for getting me a top 10 in the sport mods to get number 10. Then I said that Joey Jensen and Kurt Myers would be leading the national points in their respective classes going into the 100. Both of them took the point lead this last week. So we keep track of correct predictions and percentages. Changa, you're at 22, leading the way. I'm at 19. Youper at 18. Bird at 14. Maybe 15. Maybe 15 when we're done. Changa, you're at 40.7 on percentage. I'm on 40.4. So we're really close there. So here we go. 3 bold predictions to wrap this thing up. There is 3 to go this time by. Changa's watching. I could screw this whole deal up for him right now if I wanted to. All right, Bert, give us your first prediction.
I'm gonna go to the special at Seymour. And I will say of the divisions we're picking, late model mods and stock cars, there will be no repeat winners because they race complete shows on Friday and Saturday. So there'll be 6 different winners in those divisions.
Okay. Okay. Changa, do you want to recap? You want me to tell you what's going on right now? I'm not going to fuck it up for you.
It's good stuff.
It is a good race. We got a banger here at I-94, Bert. Feature race number 1. The heat races looked like it was going to be a gong show. The feature race has been good. Checkered flag waving in the air. I'm not going to say who. I'll wait for Changa to be able to get that done. Changa, while Changa's watching the end of this, I'll make Youper's first prediction. He said, so currently on MRP, which this isn't correct. Tyler Peterson, he said these 5 drivers: Tyler Peterson, late models, Blake Adams mod, Sobraski supers, Tyler Vernon Midwest mods, Colton Brower in the streets. No more than 2 of those drivers will win their respective A mains at this week's WISSOTA 100. No more than 2 of those 5. Is that race done?
Yeah.
Kevin Eater. Kevin Eater getting a little bit of right side romance in the front straightaway. Not bad. He rolled out of it. But Eater getting it done at I-94.
He's freaking bolted, man.
He has been really good. Congratulations, Kevin Eater, on a great race
1
at
point.
I-94.
He stole my second. Eater stole my second point.
That's good because I picked Ebert. I picked the wrong E driver. I took Ebert instead of Eater. All right, Changa, what's your first prediction?
Let's see. I'm gonna go to the high limits this week. And I'm gonna say Brad Sweet will podium every race that they have this week.
Brad Sweet will podium every race that.
He's gonna get off the Schneid.
Now,
That's
when
bold.
you say every race, do you
Every
mean
feature race.
feature? Okay.
A feature, not
Yeah,
B
A
feature.
features.
Okay, all right. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take some drivers off my draft. I'm gonna go with WISSOTA 100 this week. That's what I'm gonna do. So I am gonna say that I'll just start with this. These 3 drivers will all get top 5 finishes in Saturday's A main. Cole Searing, Eric Riley, and Caden Blazer.
Bless you.
Thank you. So Cole Searing, Eric Riley, Caden Blazer, all three of them top 5 finishes this weekend. All right, Bert, your second prediction.
I'm gonna go World of Outlaw late models and say Bobby Pierce will have no podiums this week racing World of Outlaw late models.
No podiums in Georgia for BP 32. Okay. And do they have to get them both in for that to count, or is there any
Yes, yes,
stipulations?
yes.
All right, Changa, your second prediction.
I'm going to go to Volunteer Speedway for the Bloomquist Memorial at Castro Flow Racing Night in America. And I'm going to say there will be one non-Lucas or Wu driver on the podium.
Exactly one
At
or
least,
at
at
least?
least one. At least one.
Okay. 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 I don't think that's really bold, but okay.
I'll up my last one a little bit. I'll include the Flow Night also for Bobby Pierce.
Okay. Wow. All right. You didn't even have to do that, but all right. So the trifecta of non-podium finishes for BP 32. Okay.
Go
And
Boulder, go home.
Go Boulder, go home. And Chong is coming back with a bunt saying that Dale McDowell's going to finish on the podium at Bulls Gap.
I didn't say that.
I did. I did. All right. So Uper's second prediction here. Kennedy Swan will have a rebound weekend and is going to lock herself into the A main through a prelim night, not through a B main on Saturday. And she will finish in the top 10 Saturday night at the legendary 100 at the Cedar Lake Speedway. I'm going to go back to the Wissota 100. Red Hot Kevin Eater. Red Hot Kevin Eater finishes on the podium on Saturday night. Kevin Eater, podium finish Saturday night. He stayed hot in 22. Recency biased right there, Bert. That's what that's called.
DQ'd for deck height. Just
Yeah,
now.
he's in victory lane as we speak. So, all right, Bert, your third and final prediction.
I will go to the legendary 100 and say that AJ Demo will finish in the top 5 in both the late model and modified features.
Top 5 modified and late model at the legendary 100 for AJ Demo. Okay. Changa, your third and final lapper on the track.
I think I'm going to go to the Mars series this weekend, and I'm going to say all different winners.
2 nights at Davenport, 1 night at Quincy. 3 different winners. That's bold as well because Fager's been the guy to beat in the Mars series. All right. Uper's third and final prediction. Using my Zen-like patience, I'm going to finish. This is Uper. Using my Zen-like patience.
Not after yesterday's conversation.
Yep. Uper is going to finish with his first top 5 finish in the drafts with the Wissota 100 draft. So for context there, we kind of had a long draft process, and kind of it was a gentleman's deal, like make the pick as quick as you can and get on to the next person. 3 days for Uper to make his last pick with half the people behind him in the round. And we're like, so we're going to make a new rule, a 24-hour rule for the next draft so we don't have to deal with this again. But yeah, so Uper is going to finish top 5 in the draft. I'm going to go. I am going to go USMTS modifieds is what I'm going to be. So 3 nights of racing in Oklahoma down there, assuming they get all 3 nights in. A minimum of 6 different podium drivers in the 3 nights of racing at Tri-State Pocola, Oklahoma for the red, white, and blue nationals for USMTS modifieds. At least 6 different podium finishers. All right, boys, that's you do not see Tyler Peterson get the lead and get past very often. It happened last week, and then he had the incident. I think he did end up with a solid second place
It was
finish.
like I was dumbfounded when they were lapping Johnny Broking. I thought he would move down and use Johnny as a pick more than he did.
Right,
You know,
right.
he could have moved down and just pinched Eater behind him if he wanted to there.
Yeah, clean racing probably cost him a win, but boy, Kevin Eater's been good. That's 3 weeks in a row, guys. 3 weeks in a row. This is invitational time. This is supposed to be the hard. I mean, it is. It's tough to win this time of year, and see Eater back to back weeks at invite time with wins. I'm telling you what, we talk a lot about MBs and Rockets and Longhorns. That MB car is pretty freaking fast in that 22 car. I can tell you that.
Where
So
did Burdick end up there? He had a good car too.
I feel like Burdick might have been up in the top 5 there. He had a solid run as
He's up to
well.
5th.
Yeah, Lee Gross had a really good run. He was on the podium. Tell you what, that kid's got a lot of talent. He doesn't race a ton. And once in a while, the cars, he maybe overdrives a little bit and kind of gets himself into trouble, but the kid can find some speed. He definitely knows how to find speed. So Wissota 100, legendary 100 this week. So Bert, a lot of racing to watch. We're gonna have a lot of stuff to talk about this week for sure. Keep a lot of notes because there's a lot of racing in our region. So good luck to all the drivers racing at the respective 100s this weekend. Be fun to be at. Obviously, we kind of miss racing, but good luck to everybody participating. So with that, I'm Ryan. That's Changa. That's Bert. Thanks for tuning in to the One to Go Show.